I couldn't play my sport pain-free anymore. If I did play, I was limited in my ability. And then after I'd play, I would just be in pain for days and days and days. I literally had nothing a year ago. I didn't even have a gym 1 year ago today. I'm like, I think this is God's push to say it's time to step into this full time.
I called him. I was like, I don't think that's what God's saying.
Yeah.
I disagreed.
Welcome back to the What's More podcast. I'm your host, Quentin Harris, and we are back for episode 166. I'm gathered today with my producer, Charlie Walker, and one of his dear friends, Nick Reiherzer, who's going to be joining us today as a guest. I'm so excited about this because, Nick, on the show, we talk about challenges all the time. We talk about people facing adversity, and sometimes it's financial adversity. And if you've been an audience member here listening to our show, you know that we really harp on a lot of financial information and facts and things that are going on. But what I love about today is we kind of get to break up a little bit of the monotony, and we get to talk about something a little different. And for those that don't know Nick, by the end of the show, you are. But let's talk a little bit about some things. Nick is a social media, you could deem it as an influencer with the amount of followers that he has. But more importantly, he took a challenge that he faced early in his 30s, and he said, you know what? I'm not going to let this break me down. I'm actually going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to document it. And something that started as a journey of documentation has turned into a full-time career. And for those that are interested in becoming social media influencers or maybe turning your life into something different, this is going to be the episode for you. So, Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Charlie, thanks for getting Nick on here. I know that it's hard for me to keep a straight face when I look over there because Charlie has a headset on and none of us other ones do over here. And Charlie's also just got a big smile because he's always excited.
I'm just covered up my big ears.
Is that what it is? Okay. All right. Well, for this, Charlie, thank you for getting Nick. I know this has been in the works. It's been fantastic.
Well, Nick, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
man.
of course. Drove up here to be with us today, man. Thank you very much for being in the studio. So, Charlie, let's just go straight to it. Charlie, you and Nick, how do you guys meet? How do you guys know each other?
So right before I had Presley, I went on tour with Justin Azuka, and that was my last tour actually. And we had a show in Orlando, and this guy had on, it was like an orange vest or whatever, like the poofy vest. And that's a hard thing to wear, to be honest. But dude, he looked so cool in it. And he was this big muscular dude, and he was standing, towering over the crowd. And I kept looking at him. He seemed like he was really into it. And so that was it. I just thought he'd probably a cool guy, I could be a future friend. So go to Gainesville and play our next show the next day. I think it was the next day. And Nick was there again. And I think you had your wife with you. And so he came over to the booth, where we sell the CDs and stuff. CDs.
I was going to let you go with it, Charlie. I wasn't going to say anything.
I have a lot of anybody wants one. So anyway, he came over and we got to talking, and he was a music director in the church, and that's what I used to do. So immediately we just hit it off, and I was like, I got to get your number and stay in touch. And then as the years went on, you've been up for my birthday. You helped actually buy me one of my favorite guitars. And yeah, we've just grown as brothers, in Christ, and just as friends. And so great relationship. So glad I got to meet you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Same, man. Feel the same way.
So what I take from that, Charlie, is number one, you have a lot of CDs that you like to sell, right? And number two, the orange vest is what really puffy orange vest.
I should see if
is
I
what people need to
it.
wear in order to become your friend. No, in all seriousness. So, man, that's great. And one of the things that I learned in the pre-show here is that you became a director at a church, the music director, and then you became a music director. You got promoted to do other churches, not just this one church, and you kind of had quite the career going there. And then something happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so you had a collegiate career playing basketball. I mean, obviously, if you play any sport at that level, you're committed, you love it. It's like, man, this is like a dream, right? I know this because we were just talking about, like, my son's at that turning point of are we not going to do it? I got other friends that are committed to it as well. Yep. So you're out there, you're playing, and then, what no other athlete ever wants to happen, you break down a little bit.
Yeah.
So kind of walk us through what changed in your life? Where did the pivot point or the tipping point come?
Yeah. So really, I played sports my whole life, even before college, high school and youth sports. And I actually, as I was mentioning earlier, had problems with my knees young, Osgood Slaughters in both of my knees, which caused me to be sidelined even playing soccer as a kid. Fast forward to my freshman year of college, and then I got really bad jumper's knee. Which is just like a, inflammation, tendonitis of the knee, but can be pretty severe. And that sidelined me for almost the whole preseason of my first year of college basketball. And then to be honest, it just never really got better. And so I tried to do college basketball for 2 years and then just kind of realized this isn't going to be the path. Right. So fast forward many years past that, because I was my early 20s, but go into my 30s and I'd still played recreational sports, playing in adult men's leagues and things like that. Get into like my mid 30s and my knees started to, all of that wear and tear from the previous stuff caught up, and I think that's pretty common, like for guys, once they get into their 30s, like that tends to be that tipping point physically for a lot of guys. They say 30s, your physical prime. It could be give or take a few years, right? But I think that's where a lot of guys start to experience adversity for the first time in their like real adversity, and then kind of have to make a decision. Am I going to just let it take me out, or am I going to move forward? So I would say that was my pivotal point, was right around between 35 and 37 for me. So started having real issues with my knees, started having other physical issues too, things with my shoulders, just sports things that added up over years and years. And it really began to get to the point where I couldn't play my sport pain-free anymore. If I did play, I was limited in my ability. And then after I'd play, I would just be in pain for days and days and days. And so, I kind of was telling you the story earlier, but when I turned 37, I had a goal every year. I'm going to dunk on my birthday. And I had been doing it every single year, right? Sounds like such a funny goal, but it's just like,
I get it.
Yeah, man. So my 37th birthday, I go out and I try to dunk. My wife's with me. She's got the camera. Go, baby, right? Yeah. And I go to try to dunk. Nope, miss, right?
You look like Charlie and I do.
Yeah. And so I'm like, let me try again. We go through the whole thing. I must have tried 5. Yeah. The rim's high or something, So I tried, 5, 6 different times. I never get a clean dunk. And, and I'm like, wow. So that's it.
Yeah.
Like the streak ends at 37. That's really disappointing, Well, in the background of all of this, I had already been talking to my wife about starting some type of, whether it was an Instagram, YouTube, whatever, just to kind of showcase some of this fitness stuff that I was doing, which was just my own stuff. I was just kind of working out. And I remember it was my wife was the one who really pushed me towards this path. She said, well, hey, you keep talking about this all the time. Just do it.
Right.
Just start. You don't have to do anything special or fancy. Grab a camera, record yourself in the gym, and start an Instagram page and just post on Instagram. So I already had the name because I had already been thinking about this, the name Over the Hill Hooper. And
which I love, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Creative.
So thank you. So I started the page from nothing, no followers, 0, right? And I just started posting content. And if you go on my page, you can still go back. It's all there. I've never deleted any of my posts. And I just started literally setting up a camera in my garage, recording myself. And, it didn't take off right away, but essentially I chose, it's like the way that you set this up is I chose to take something that was an issue, my pain, not being able to dunk. And essentially what I wanted to do was then create a video diary of I'm going to come back.
Yep.
I'm going to figure this out. I didn't have a plan as to how that was going to happen, but I just went, I'm going to post, and you can go back. You can see that very first video on my 37th birthday where I really couldn't dunk.
Yeah.
And I have that. That's literally the starting point of my Instagram page. And then I've just chronicled all the things that I've done from then to this day where I'm now 37 and I'm, dunking like I was 20 again.
Yeah.
Like I'm flying. So
I want to put this in perspective because it's not as much about as it is. I mean, dude, you were in serious pain.
Yeah,
like this wasn't just like, hey, I couldn't dunk. It's like, man, I had damn near a hard problem walking. Your knees, you were telling me your knee was swelling up. You couldn't put on jeans. I mean, this is it. It was pain. It was not just about. I mean, the end goal here is like you said on your birthday when we're done. But I want the audience to understand severe pain. And what I love about this is you said, hey, listen, you know what? Like I'm going to find a way to turn this into an opportunity. I've been talking about it. Your wife obviously was right there by your side and said, hey, just do it. Right, go after go get it. And I think in our world we live in right now, like some people hit an obstacle and they want to tell you why they got to that obstacle and what's causing the obstacle, but they never want to look for the solution of how to actually just knock that obstacle down, heal it in your case, or find a solution. And so one of the things that I love you did there was you by creating that, you created some accountability, right? Because you said, listen, I'm gonna put myself out there. Never done this before. And by the way, I think this is important for the audience. You heard him say, it took a while. It didn't happen overnight. And like all good things, they take a minute, right?
Yep.
But consistency, you know, and effort gets you there, right? Efforts, I think effort's what separates doers and those that don't. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's not all this other stuff, it's effort.
Yep.
And so you did that.
Yep.
And so, you know, it went from, and if I recall, you recently were able to quit your day job.
Yeah.
And now this is what you do full time.
Correct.
And you help coach people on these techniques and these forms and all the stuff that you've worked on to get yourself to where you are today.
Yep. Correct. Yep.
And I mean, with this, like are you getting like people just giving you items and saying, hey, use our product? Is that happening as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy to think about because it did quite literally start from nothing. You know, I didn't have a base or anything. It was just start a page and see what happens.
You just told us you put zero into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Zero money.
Even to this day?
No, I've paid nothing.
And
I've
you-
never paid for ad revenue one time.
And you didn't
ever.
use your internal pipeline of friends, family.
The truth is, I didn't have
church.
I didn't have anybody, and I still really don't have anybody that I know who's in that space. You know what I'm saying? That's even would have leverage to help me grow something. Like, and I don't know anybody who has experience in that area. So no, I was.
But
doing
you know how
this.
like you can friend suggest or it says like send all your friends.
Yeah. I mean, no, yeah. Like when I started my page, I like sent it out to my
you did?
300 followers on Instagram, and like 50 of them followed me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like. So I guess, you know, to clarify, when I say zero, I mean I had like 50 of my friends who were like, "Oh, cool, you're starting a fitness page. I'll follow you." You know, but outside of that, no leverage whatsoever. You know, so I can talk through that a little bit. Is just even on the beginning, it took from the time I started the page. It was 6 months before I hit 3,000 followers. It took me 6 months to go from zero to 3,000, right? So it's slow.
Right.
It's very, very slow. And that basically, you said something a minute ago. I think consistency is probably the biggest key. I'm not saying if you're consistent, you're automatically going to grow an Instagram page,
Right.
but I do think that having some level of consistency is going to be a foundational piece to growing an Instagram page. So what I committed up front was I said, I don't have a plan for what this turns into. No idea. But what I'm going to commit to is posting 5 days a week for a year. And at the end of the year, we'll see what happens. And then I'll decide whether I want to keep doing this or I don't. And so that's what I did. I posted pretty much every day, 5 days a week. I'd take 1 or 2 days a week off. And it was, I started that in like September. And I want to say it was like February or March before I hit 3,000. And then, and this is something we were talking about earlier before the show, I just had some reels that went viral.
Yep.
You know, I had 1 or 2 that went viral that got me from 3,000 to 10,000 like that, right? And that's been kind of the general way that my page has grown. It's always been like, you know, a good bump and then slow, and then a bump and then slow.
Yep.
You know, and now I'm up to, as of right now, almost 180,000 followers. So, I mean, it's just been, it's crazy.
That is.
It's
You
a
know,
crazy
something you
thing.
said earlier, like, hey, it hit me like when I got to 75,000 that or 50,000 that like, hey, like I have like a responsibility,
Right.
not to just like screw off, but also like provide value to the people that are doing this, right?
Yep.
And you know, I love what you said. Like, hey, I didn't go into this trying to get. Hey, I want to get 100,000 followers. Like you went into this as an accountability to yourself. I love the fact you said, I'm gonna give it a year. Whatever happens, happens, but I'm gonna give it a year. But you're providing value. And the one thing I've learned with like social media, right, is that I think when it comes to like products or some sort of value, like what you're presenting, there's a huge place for that on, you know, Instagram is the world, IG's that. But, you know, and then there's other platforms for like experiences that also live on other platforms as well. And so you've clearly capitalized in a very good way. And something that I think is interesting is like, I hear this from people about housing all the time. They're like, oh yeah, but you know, my mom and dad, when they bought a home, it was in insert, you know, whatever year, 19, whatever, 2000, whatever. home price was this, right?
Yep.
So someone would be listening to this and they may go, well, he got in early on Instagram before it was that. But I mean, this is like in the last 3 years, right?
Yeah, I wasn't early.
Yeah, I was going to say, you weren't an early adapter. Right?
At all.
Well, this is important because a lot of people, they kind of use that, again, there's that crutch. There's that obstacle, but, right?
Yep.
This is relatively new.
For sure.
And
2 years. I've only been doing it 2 years. Yeah.
And so not paid a dime, all organic. I mean, I think this is phenomenal because, I mean, there are instances where, we get hit up all the time. People, we'll help you do this. We'll get that. We'll help you pay for this. And it's like, the one piece of advice we keep getting is like, don't pay for a damn thing.
Right.
Like, don't do it. Just try to be organic growth in that. But you've gotten to a level. So when did you get your first sponsor, your first product? Like, how did that go? They just reach out to you on the platform and just say, hey, Nick, do this for us.
So what's interesting about Instagram, and this is for anybody who is trying to grow a page, beware the fact that when you start to grow, even early. So there's companies that will target you when you're very small. It's smart because they want to catch you.
Ride the wave up.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Which can be great if you align yourself with the right companies, which one of them I did and has been literally the best, just group of people that I've worked with through all of this. But, when I first started hitting those big boosts, that's where I would get people coming out of the woodwork. Hey, we want to send you this, and will you do a video for this? And if we send you this, will you this, right? Because everybody wants to attach themselves to your brand to hope to get some sort of kickback from that, right? So, but my first affiliate deal was with a company called the Tib Bar Guy, who are still really good friends of mine. I still work with them to this day. They have basically stocked my gym. So I have a home gym that I built out my garage.
Okay.
I've paid for some of my equipment, but I would say, I don't even know the dollar amount, but let's just say a significant amount of equipment that they have sent to me so that I have a fully functioning gym. Because that's where I train my clients.
Yeah.
I train my clients out of a gym.
Probably somewhere between $25,000-$30,000 easily.
I would
maybe
think
higher
in that range. Yeah, for sure. Lots.
I don't
want to
get ahead, but you're talking about training clients. You told me, I think it was yesterday, that a lot of your clients are actually online clients. So you don't even physically have them in your gym.
So I have both, but I would say the primary source of my income comes from online training. Yeah. Okay. So I went now. Again, they are tied together. Instagram, 100% having my Instagram following has afforded me opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I can say that from experience because I was a trainer years before and I was just trying to do it out of a gym. And it was very hard to get clients. Like it's a grind. You're in there with 10 other trainers and you're competing to see who can get who. And with this, because of the following, people will come to me. They look for me, which is great, right? So I'm not having to go out and necessarily prove myself. But yeah, so with the training stuff though, I had, as of April last year, I took my first online client, and like as of today, I'm over 50 people who I train
Congratulations.
online. Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. Same thing with in person. Like again, some of these are just really cool, like God moments too, where my very first in-person client, I did not know him, but he played, I knew of him. He didn't know me, played college basketball at local university, Embry-Riddle. He was playing professional basketball in Spain at the time and found me, reached out, says, hey man, I'm going to be home in the summer. Would you train me? This is a pro athlete. I'm not training anybody in person at that point, nor had I for years, right? And I didn't even have a gym at the time. Right?
So like, sure, we'll figure something out.
Well, what I was doing was I was training out of my neighbor's garage, just myself. And so at that time, I just said to my wife, the crazy thing is we were building my wife's shop at the time. We were just finishing up. My wife owns a hair salon. And I said, yeah, I think this is like God's, you asked about getting this as being a full-time thing now, because I was in a full-time job then. So I'm like, I think this is God's push to say it's time to step into this full time.
I called him. I was like, I don't think that's what God's saying. I disagreed. I was like, bro, you're made for this.
I know. But, and I loved what I did. I loved what I did at the church. I love the church and I love worship and I love music. I love all of those things. But I also have a passion for fitness And I see fitness as an opportunity to minister to people, to help people grow, obviously physically, but then you build relationships too. So anyway, so that was just a really cool thing too, is I literally had nothing a year ago. I didn't even have a gym 1 year ago today. And today I have a full gym in my garage, fully stocked, mostly with equipment that I did not pay for. And
That you don't have to give back.
that I don't have to give back. Yeah. They're not just loaning it to me.
Right.
It's mine. And, you know, 10 clients that train with me in person of all ages. I'm training pro and college athletes. I'm training people in their 50s and 60s.
Nice.
I've got all ranges of people.
And are most of them there for the niche of knee, ankle rehab?
That's funny that you asked that. I was just having that conversation with one of them this morning. No, actually, I would say I said this to my buddy yesterday. Knee pain is what pays the bills for me. Okay. So knee pain is the thing that I talk about the most on my page because it's the thing that people tend to be the most attracted to.
And do you think that's because they want to avoid surgery, or they're just it's chronic, it's avoiding surgery?
I think it's avoiding surgery. I think it's they've been living in chronic pain for years and they're just at their wits' end. How do I get past this? So yeah, knee pain pays the bills. But once I get people and I build a relationship with them, I find out a lot of them aren't even that's not necessarily what they're looking for. They're just looking to get healthy.
That's how they found you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I can help you with your knee pain, but I can also help you lose weight or gain muscle or get more athletic. I train people for all reasons. Knee pain is just what pays the bills.
That's what gets them in the door.
Yeah,
that makes
100%.
sense. So
Yep.
are you actually getting paid by sponsors as well?
Yeah, so in certain scenarios, yeah. So I get it a few different ways. So sometimes you have affiliate deals, right? Where a company, you make like a percentage off anything that people buy. They give you a link and a code.
Yep.
Right.
You hear
right.
that all the time
So
on
that's
podcasts.
one
Yep.
way. That's a pretty simple way. But then I've like sponsored athlete contracts with some companies too, where they do pay me a certain amount monthly. They obviously send me some products, and then, I make kickback on anything that people buy off of it. And then one of the cool things that started to happen is as the page has grown, you get companies who would like their product to be featured on your page, or they would like you to shoot an ad for them. And so then the company comes to you and they say, here's what we're looking for. What do you charge? And that's one of the cool things about this space too, is it's very I like to say it's kind of like the wild, wild west. There's no there's nobody who can kind of tell me what I can and can't charge. So if I'm like, well, this is what it's worth, company can say yes, or they can say no. And at the end of the day, I'm good either way. It's fine. Right. So that's a couple ways that I get paid too. Yeah.
Find out real quick if you're underselling yourself, right?
Right. 100%. Yeah. Right. Because if everyone,
damn, I should have done that for 50% more.
Yeah. Because you will realize that. You'll go, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying yes when I offer this
They
job. Maybe I
didn't
need
even
to
bark. They just said yes real quick. I'm completely underselling myself.
I did
here.
learn that early. Yeah.
Should be a guide to this.
For sure, man.
No, that's great. I think that, for me, like when I hear this, I see someone that has made it work in the confines of like literally just not having to spend any money to do this. And I think that's the important thing because, in my world, we deal with a lot of real estate agents, and in the banking world, we deal with a lot of lenders as well. And people are constantly trying to get to those followers because, followers, and I'm sure you are either doing this or this is the next step. Because right now they live on Instagram's platform, right? But you really want them to live on your platform.
Correct.
So is a newsletter the next step, or are you already there?
No, yeah, that's part of the next step.
That's the next step.
Now
right?
as I
bring them
out,
from there to bring them to you, right?
You kind of build the funnel.
Right.
Exactly. So now that's the process. So again, so much of this, it's like I said to you earlier, like when I hit 50,000 and I went, wow, I kind of did this on accident, which is very unusual. I wouldn't think that's the typical story. But I realized quickly, just because you have 50,000 followers doesn't equate to it being a job or income in any way. You then have to, build systems and provide some sort of value that people go, oh yeah, I'll pay for that, right? So I'm at least at a point where I offer services, but yeah, now the next step is kind of getting them to my platform more often. emails and all that kind of stuff, doing newsletters, like all those where you build relationships with people outside of the platform. Because what I've heard a lot is people don't want to be sold to on Instagram.
Not at all.
They come to Instagram to be entertained.
Yep.
They want to learn and they want to be entertained. So if you just try to sell to them there, it's typically a turnoff.
And some don't even want to learn.
Correct. That's true. Some just want to come to see stupid stuff.
They just want to see you with your shirt off.
It's like, oh, I don't want to learn. That's why I'm going to this platform.
Exactly.
So, and then for our audience, that's the next thing. Like, I think that's where the confusion starts. If you're trying to build an online presence, right? And I think we're like in the third phase of the second phase, getting ready to teeter into the third phase on our own platform here. But the goal is, because let's say social media platform, something shuts down tomorrow. You've lost all that contact, all that potential book of business. So you've got to get them off that platform to your platform where you start getting the newsletter. Now they're in your database. They're in your sphere, right? And then all of a sudden you can send weekly, monthly newsletters out. You can have a website where you're actually, if you want to download my video on this knee stretch or if you're having this problem, you could sell the courses. All of that stuff's there because you're pulling them from this platform to there.
Yep.
And that's probably the next phase where you're heading with this.
Yep.
But for our audience, lots of real estate agents on here, lots of real estate agents and a lot of entrepreneurs. What piece of advice do you give to someone that has a page? Let's start with two questions here. Has a page, but it's stagnant. Like they're not really getting a lot of traction. What's one or two pieces of advice you would say that, hey, listen, this is a guaranteed way. Maybe that's not the right question.
Yeah.
But this is a way you're going to increase activity on there, guaranteed if you did this.
Number one would be consistency.
Okay,
I would ask.
Nailed that one in, right? 5 days a week. And maybe take the 5x5 challenge. You just said 5 days a week, 5 postings go, take Saturday and Sunday off.
What I see so often is people go into it with this they want that immediate kickback. They, I made a post and my post was great and I didn't get the traction. And it's like,
that's a psychological thing.
I do that 5 times a week and that happens. And you just have to continue to post because it sounds crazy, but eventually you'll hit. Something will hit, right?
Sure. At what point do you start reposting?
I didn't really start reposting content. I was probably a little late to the game in that. I made new videos every day, which, for the first year and a half, that's exhausting. You're coming up with a new idea every single day and trying to, it's a lot.
We don't do it every day. We do it twice a week. So
and it's a lot.
Well, we have great episodes that I feel like didn't get maybe the traction that I thought it should have gotten in the beginning when we got started and stuff. And so we've been encouraged to repost certain things. And they've completely done way better the second time.
Yeah. Well, and I would assume some of that is because on the front end, people didn't know who you were. So you're pitching to an audience that's significantly smaller, but it was good content. It's worth coming back around now that you have a larger following because that stuff is exponential.
Yeah, it's
is it better to repost or redo?
I would say that it's probably just based on what we've seen result wise is repost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Repost. I mean, reposting is just re-editing, recutting, and shooting it out again. It's a new post, right? You're just taking older content and doing it that way.
Yep. And I do that all the time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I really have at this point, I have a really specific schedule as to how I post. I post certain things on certain days because I've gotten it down to that.
Yeah.
That much of a science. And I will say this, the way that I ran my Instagram for the first year and a half before it was my full-time job was different than the way that I run my Instagram today.
Yeah.
Once it became my full-time job, I realized I actually do need this to be for right now to be the driving force behind me actually getting clients and developing relationships. And there's certain types of posts that are more effective at doing that.
So I have a question. I've noticed recently you have these questionnaires on Instagram where it's like, do you do this? Do you like to do it? Are you afraid to do it altogether? It's just not for me.
Yep.
Quentin, do you know those little questionnaires that are at have those things been beneficial for you as far as guiding?
Yeah.
Okay.
So truth be told, I'm not using those to gather information. I'm using those to get engagement.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So I'm not actually, I don't want to say I'm not interested. I am interested.
I really don't care what you say.
Like people are
there.
going to, my followers are going to watch this and be like, what a jerk, dude. So
I don't mean it that way. It came out wrong.
That's not the way I mean it at all. I do, like when I put them up there, obviously I am interested in seeing what people will say. But more than anything, it's to give people a place to engage, you know, because if all I ever do is just post content where I'm talking at them, but I'm not giving them an opportunity to respond or a reason to respond, even because sometimes they just will.
Yep.
Right. Sometimes they won't. And, you know, so I've used things in posts like comment this if you're, you know, whatever. Like I'll just.
One thing that you've done incredibly well, and I've had other people, you know, they ask me like I should know, but like how or whatever to do an Instagram post or whatever. And I've seen guys who will give information and then they'll have caption text that's giving maybe additional information, but it's not following along with it. So I'm having to read something and listen to something at the same time. And it is just, it's really too stimulating for me, right?
Sure.
And one thing that you've done, and I notice as I scroll down, just keep going, not only is it consistent, the topic, but it's consistent the way that you produced it. And you had the captions that were easy to read. So if I was in a room where I didn't want to have the volume up, I was able to read what your workout was.
Yep.
I think that is something that's really important that people should maybe consider doing that you've done.
Yeah. I mean, it is helpful if you.
And your titles are excellent too.
Thank you.
Do you choose those?
Yeah, I mean, it's an app, and then it just gives you different options, so you can get as creative as you want with it.
Do you mind sharing the?
Yeah, it's literally called Captions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a paid app. You can buy it, and it just, you know, it transcribes everything for you. And then you have some editability in there where you can go in and move words around. You can highlight things. You can, you know, you can do all kinds of stuff with it, but it does help you create a consistent product. So if I just try to stick to a pretty consistent, whatever the script or whatever. But I think that is important because a lot of people actually don't scroll with their volume on.
Right.
So if you want people to engage and you post a video where you're talking and there's no captions on the screen, they're done.
You're
they're
done.
3 seconds and they're out of there.
Well, you know, it's so we'll have that link to captions in our YouTube channel at What's Your One More with number 1 on there. If you subscribe, we'll put that right in the link there. You can grab that. You know, and I think that's the other thing that I'm looking at here is that, you know, Charlie, to his point, what I'm hearing is a serious, like, methodical way planned of you're not just posting on the go. Like, you have a schedule. You use other forms of plugins to help boost these posts to give you, you know, because we all run out of stuff to say.
Yeah.
I mean, you start saying the same stuff over and over again. So you're using other tools to help with this. And, you know, again, if I'm a real estate agent, first thing I heard, or if I'm a lender and I'm wanting to boost my brand online, first thing I heard was be consistent.
Yeah.
Put a schedule together. Doesn't really matter at first what it is, just put it together, right? Consistency is key. Number 2 is use some of the tools. Again, they'll be in our YouTube channel. The links, Charlie will put them all in there. What's Your One More with number 1. But use the tools to help you kind of be more purposeful in what you're doing out there, you know?
Here's my thing. Watch other people.
Okay.
Go to your space. I'm assuming, right, if you're a real estate agent, you probably follow other realtors.
Same with lenders. Yep, same thing.
Go look at the people who are winning.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Because they're doing something right. And that's what I've done. I mean, when I started, if you go back to the beginning of my page, my content was terrible. And then you can see the maturation as I went to from where I am now to then. Like, I'm not a pro editor by any means, but I've learned a lot of stuff in 2 years. And a lot of it is go learn from people who are doing it better than you, that are already achieved the goal that you're looking to achieve. And then it's not like you don't try and copy them. You just take ideas and make it your own, right? Like, that's what the captions thing wasn't my idea.
Sure.
I saw that and I went, wow, that's really great. I'm going to implement that on my page, right? And use it in my own content. So I think that's really important too. And be humble enough to reach out to people. You'd be surprised. People reach out to me and go, hey man, I'm just curious. How do you do X, Y, Z? I'll share that information. Why wouldn't I?
I think that's the biggest takeaway I'm hearing right here is that I know a lot of people are maybe just scared, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, I don't want to reach out to that person, but I love what you said because it's something that you see every day, but people forget about. Like, if someone's doing it better than you, don't hate on them.
No.
Go learn from them, you
Yep.
know? And, you know, it's kind of like if you were going to play a guitar, would you hate on Eric Clapton, or would you say, reach out and say, hey man, could you show me this? And you would, absolutely would. Same thing with basketball, Michael Jordan. Like,
Yep.
these are the people you want to be with, the greats, right?
Yep.
And so if someone's doing something better you in your category, I love that advice. Just
Yep.
go watch what they're doing and then maybe even reach out. Ask for a little bit of
Absolutely.
help. You'd be
Yep.
surprised.
Yep.
And I think this is such a, you said earlier on the show, it's a wild, wild west space, right?
Yeah.
That there really isn't any type of lane of that people are in. They're actually probably very, very excited that you would reach out to them, right?
Yep.
They're humbled that you would even reach out and
Yep.
do that. So, man, that's a great piece of advice right there. Consistency, go find who's owning your space right now,
Yep.
take some things from them, and then reach out to them.
Absolutely.
Dude, those are three major takeaways right
Yep.
now. We could sum this whole episode up in those three things. I think our audience would walk away and be like, all right,
Yeah.
got that. And it's manageable too. right?
Very.
Like, you can start that today.
Yep.
Like today, like you can go find who's owning the space that you're in right now.
Yep.
Okay, I want to have what they have. I'm going to look at what they're doing. I'm going to take some stuff, make it mine, but then I'm also going to reach out,
Yep.
send them an email,
Yep.
send them a DM, something.
Yep.
Compliment what they're doing, ask for some suggestions.
And
Yeah, your stuff is very digestible.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I felt like it'd be so beneficial for our guests to hear your story. And also, you didn't go Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like all these different things at once. You just one thing that I can fit in my schedule.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
For sure. Yeah.
And if you can't do the 5 thing, do a 3 or a 2. But
do something.
Right.
Just start
my
somewhere.
dad always said it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
You know, I heard this today, and that's why I keep scrolling through my phone here. I'm sorry if it looks rude.
No,
but I just
you're
want this. So I get this newsletter of all things today, and this author is the author of the Atomic Habit. So he sends the 3-2-1 newsletter every Thursday. How ironic is it? This is what came up today, and I texted this to my co-host Daniel Halverson, and then you're here today. You talk about like these moments, but it says, I said, dude, this should be on our wall for our team to see when you walk in every day. But it said, whether you're an adult or child, your first attempts will often seem unimportant or foolish. The open mic night at nearly an empty bar, the early blog posts that get ignored, the dance recital on a little stage. Early attempts are easy to dismiss because they don't seem to amount to much, but you have to do the low-stakes stuff to prepare for the high-stakes stuff. They are the building blocks of confidence, and that's an enormous thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, because, we talk about this all the time, but like, especially my kids' generation, they want the now. Not what it took to get to the now. Like, I see this a lot. Like because they see the people on Instagram, right? They see what the finished product is, but they're not scrolling to your first post. Which, by the way, I love how you're like, my first post, you own it. You're like, they weren't good, and like I'm proud of that, right?
Yeah. I'm good with that.
It's awesome, but they don't see that, right? They
Right.
just see where you are now with 180,000 followers, and they want to get to that, right? But it's like the open mic night at a bar when no one was there. That's that early little attempts. Your first post where you're like, all right, man, I'm in the garage. I'm gonna do this. I don't really know what I'm doing, but
For sure.
we're gonna go ahead and put it out there, and here you are. Fast forward, full-time job doing this.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you, man.
Hell of a story. Congratulations. Hats
Appreciate
off.
that.
Job well done, man.
Thank you.
Super, super excited for you, and can't wait to see you get to 500,000 followers.
Appreciate that,
and
man.
And more lucrative contracts. Out there.
Yeah.
Next time you put your number out there, double it. Just see.
Okay. Yeah,
Hey, what is
I
this
will.
going to cost? I remember the show I was on. I said should double it. So here we go.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for all the advice today
Thank
for
you,
our
guys.
listeners, guys. If you like what you're hearing, you can check Nick out on his Instagram page. You want to give him your handle here. We'll also
Yep.
have it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's Over the Hill Hooper. That's where on all my platforms, it's Over the Hill Hooper.
Over
So
the
I
Hill
think
Hooper.
I mostly post to Instagram. I do have a YouTube. I do have a Facebook. I do have a TikTok, but I hate TikTok. No
Yep.
disrespect to TikTok,
Gotcha.
man.
All
But
the TikTokers out there. Yeah.
Instagram is primarily where you can get me.
Where they
Yep.
find you at. Okay, well, guys, hey, check Nick out. Look at the Over the Hill Hooper. Love the name, by the way. I'll keep saying
Thank
that. And hey, let's end on this. How many years have you been dunking since the knee's been healed?
Literally from 1 month, maybe 2 months after I started doing my training. So it's been 2 years.
2
now
years.
that I'm back to. I'll turn 40 in September,
Nice.
and I'll be dunking at 40. Like I'm flying right now.
I love it. I love
You
it.
can't tell in the camera, but he's about 7 foot tall.
No, I am 6'4".
Well,
though.
I mean, it's side note. I mean, a side note. What he's not telling you is they're starting on a guitar dunker. Charlie's working on that now. Next thing you know, Charlie's gonna be over there throwing down the hoop.
That's gonna be your Instagram
Yeah, that's
handle.
gonna be his. No, but hey, thanks for being on the show, guys. If you like what you're hearing, please 5-star review this podcast. If you would, leave a review. We always love hearing from our audience on there. Ultimately, check us out at YouTube at What's Your One More with the number 1. Subscribe. All the notes, all the apps, all the things we talked about, all the links to Nick will be on there. Nick, thanks again for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Charlie, thanks for bringing another great guest to the show, my friend, and all the production work you do in these episodes. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for including me.
Till the next episode, we'll see you guys at What's Your One More.
I got one more shot, I'm gonna make it. One more chance, I'm gonna take it. I meant it when I said it, now it's time for me to do it. I got one life to live, so I put my all into it.